Yeah, can I? Okay.
As soon as it's 10.
Saurav will be joining, right?
He's here.
Because
All
he's
the role takers, quickly rename yourself. Your role _ your name.
Good morning, guests and fellow Toastmasters. A warm welcome to meeting number 132 of the Gabbys Toastmasters Club. I am TM Pranav Pothan, your SAA for today. I'm sure you are as excited as I am. The meeting will be blocked for 2 hours and you are expected to stay for the entire duration. Before we start the meeting, I want to highlight some key points. Your video should be on and the audio should be off. Audio should be on only when you are called to speak or need to speak. Regarding the topics of sex, religion, and politics, even though Toastmasters International does not put any restrictions on speaking on these topics, at the Gabbys TM Toastmasters Club, however, we request all speakers and role takers to be mindful and responsible and abstain from expressing any controversial views on these sensitive topics. Also, urge you to be cognizant of the fact that we as a club practice diversity and inclusion in letter and in spirit. Hence, ensure that there are no sexist, racist, or any such undertone which create hostility and discomfort for members or guests. Let me now call upon the presiding officer for today's meeting, TTM Saurav Datta. Having successful stints for more than 2 decades with HP, Target, JCPenney, and ICBI, distinguished Toastmaster Saurav Datta is Division Director, Division B, District 92. He is also Vice President, membership of the Gabbys Toastmasters Club. Over to you, Saurav Datta.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Pranav. Today is a very special meeting because we are going to celebrate a lot of things today. First of all, the Gabbys Toastmasters Club has yet again become the club with the highest number of education awards in District 92. Currently, we have got 51 education awards in this program year alone, and we still have 2 months to go. So we are one of the top 4 clubs of the district now in terms of the member to awards ratio, and we are also the highest award winning club of District 92. Thank you everyone at the Gabbys Toastmasters Club for your contributions. What is more exciting about this is that this has not come from 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people, but the high member to award ratio also shows that every one of you, each of you have participated in winning the education awards for the clubs. For the guests, the education awards are something that we win for the club and for ourselves when we complete our speeches from the Toastmaster pathways, file our levels, and then complete our paths. Toastmaster pathways has got 11 such paths, and our members have been covering those. So we have a path breaker in almost all of these paths within the club. That's indeed a very rare feat. The second big announcement for today is that the Gabbys again has put up an exemplary performance, a stellar performance at the division contest. Before that, the Gabbys had put up some great performance at the area contest. So the Gabbys Toastmasters Club has won in all the 3 contest categories at the Division B District 92 contests for the program year 2022-23. Toastmaster Aparna Raja from the Gabbys Toastmasters Club is now a division champion in evaluation speech contest, in international speech contest, and in table topic contest. May we have a big round of applause for Toastmaster Aparna Raja and the Gabbys Toastmasters Club. I personally believe that the achievements of our Toastmaster members at contests and in various clubs as speakers is a testimony to the fact that the Gabbys is a nurturing ground for talent. We create the right ambience for people to nurture themselves, to grow, to hone their speaking skills and become better speakers. Aparna has been winning laurels for us since the club chartered, but she's not alone. We have people who every week take up speaker slots in various clubs across the district, beyond the district, and win awards for us. This week, I have Toastmaster Chaitanya Prasad, Toastmaster Nagesh Ramamurthy, and I'm forgetting the third name. Nancy, please remind me who's the other person.
Pranav.
And Toastmaster Pranav Pothan, who has got us the best speaker awards in other clubs where they participated as guest speakers. Thank you so much, Chaitanya, Pranav, and Nagesh in absentia for bringing laurels to the club every day. Don't undermine the efforts and the acknowledgements that you receive in those clubs, because those are the stepping stones for you also to become a division champion and a district champion one day. I also have the pleasure of welcoming our newest member to the Gabbys Toastmasters Club, Toastmaster Jyoti Mandal. She is a dual member of the Gabbys Toastmasters Club. She's already a member of IBM Blue Expressions Toastmasters Club in Division H, and now she has taken a dual membership at the Gabbys Toastmasters Club. Toastmaster Jyoti Mandal is also a division level contestant. She's an area contest winner in international speech contest and in table topics contest. I also have the pleasure of announcing that the Gabbys achievements is not only limited within the district alone. Even outside of District 92, we have been seeing some great success by the members. Toastmaster Bala Venkat has become the first runner-up in the international speech contest in District 80. What we are doing today is not something that we have started doing of late. This is not magic. And this is not a fluke. This is not a miracle. We just keep our foundations right. The reason that the Gabbys sees this kind of success, and this is a question that I always get to hear, that how does Gabbys manage to do it? How do you manage to get so many education awards? How do you manage to get so many contest winners? What are you doing that we are not doing? I can say that there's one thing that we are doing and doing it right, and that is this, the meetings that we conduct. At the Gabbys, we believe that the meetings are the foundation of our Toastmasters journey, and quality meetings are the one and only way for us to shine and rise. And that's what we do diligently, week after week, every Saturday for the last 132 weeks, including this week. A testimony of the fact is that we always start our meetings at 10:00 hours. In none of these 132 meetings, the Gabbys meeting has started at 10:01 or 10:02. We have always started our meetings at 10:00 hours. And this is the kind of diligence, this is the kind of discipline which helps us grow the club and make the club a better place and a safer place for you to learn and grow. And this is something that we have drawn inspiration from our legendary founder of Toastmasters International, Dr. Ralph C. Smedley. The same diligence which Dr. Ralph C. Smedley showed almost 100 years back is what we are practicing here today, every day, every week. To take this meeting forward, let me now introduce the Toastmaster of the day. But before that, I do see a lot of guests today. Thank you everyone for joining. Jitendra has been joining us as a guest for some time, but I see quite a few new guests. So I see Abigail Burgess. I have met Abigail and I've met Devashish Parmar at a club, Toastmasters Indiranagar Pride in person. So Abigail, any thoughts, quick thoughts?
Yeah, hi, Saurabh. Thank you for introducing me. Okay, so what do I say about? I'm really glad to be here.
Any particular expectations from this meeting?
I'm really glad to be here, and I was, so excited to see the kind of performance the members of Gabbys sort of put forward. And I'm looking forward to sort of, I've never challenged myself ever. So I'm kind of looking forward to do that through Gabbys. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. We also have Abigail's husband, Devashish Parmar, with us here. Thank you, Devashish, to you and Abigail for joining us today. We also have a lot of other guests. We have Priyambada Sharma, Ishika Mahajan, Rishita Bhargav, Jacob Matthew, and I will take your comments during the course of this meeting. Our TMOD will also give you opportunities to interact with us. And before I forget, and before I hand over to the TMOD, it is not only the first place that we have won at the 3 contests, we also have the honor of winning the 3rd place at the Division B contest, a laurel brought to us by Toastmaster Preeti Jain. Thank you, Preeti. Congratulations. Congratulations to all of you. And thank you for all that you do for the Gabbys. We are because you are. Thank you. With this, let me hand over the stage to the Toastmaster of the day, Distinguished Toastmaster Nancy Goel. Distinguished Toastmaster Nancy Goel is the current VP Education of the Gabbys Toastmasters Club, someone who's been leading us from the front in bringing home all the laurels that we are bringing home today in the last 6 months. DTM Nancy is the Educom lead of District 92. She's the past area director, Area E2, District 92. She's also the fastest path breaker in District 92. She has completed 1 complete path in just 21 days. She's also the 2nd fastest Distinguished Toastmaster of District 92, having completed her Distinguished Toastmaster title in 2 years and 3 months. On an average, it takes 4 to 6 years for a Toastmaster to become a Distinguished Toastmaster. So with a big round of applause, let me welcome on stage Distinguished Toastmaster Nancy Goel, our Toastmaster of the day. Over to you, Nancy.
Thank you so much, Distinguished Toastmasters Ardatta. That was quite a lot. I think we need to cut down our introduction so that we can save some more time. Anyways, thank you. That made me feel good today. On this beautiful note, I would like to welcome all our fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. Today, I'm not coming up with any script as TMOD. Well, any script, I do have the introductions, but script regarding the theme. The theme for today is Mind Matters. So what am I going to talk about? Am I going to talk about mental health? I think that's been pretty common these days. Am I going to talk about pareidolia, how our mind, our brain finds patterns? We have had that kind of meeting earlier. Some of you know what pareidolia is. Some of you don't know. In case you don't know, you can always search that out. It's interesting. But what I'm going to do today, I'll share my screen. And I'll ask you a very simple question. Which of the two, the upper one and the bottom one, is darker?
Both are same.
Both are same
The
color.
upper one is darker for me.
Upper one is darker for someone. Someone is saying both are same.
Upper one is darker for me.
Upper one is darker. I've stopped sharing. I would love to collect your comments.
Yes, upper one is darker.
Upper one is darker. Okay. Anyone who thinks the lower one is darker? No one? So I've got two kind of comments here. Some people are saying both are same. Some people are saying upper one is darker. The ones who are saying upper one is darker, do you think it could be same? How can someone say it's same? Okay, someone is saying lower one is lighter. Yes, upper one. Yes, thank you, Abigail. Lower one is lighter, upper one is darker.
It's the direction of light which is making difference.
It's the direction of light which is making difference. Okay. Both are same, but light exposure is different. All right. I'll take your thoughts. In case you have some other thoughts, just share your thoughts in the chat box. I'll come back with this image towards the course of the meeting. Now let's move on. Like every Toastmasters meeting, we have 3 parts to meeting structure. The first one is prepared speech. Second one is table topics. And third one is general evaluation. In our meetings, we generally have evaluation section right after prepared speech section. But today's meeting, our table topic master is also attempting a project, due to which our evaluation section would be after the table topic section, and post that we'll have general evaluation. To begin with the meeting, we need to have somebody who will be taking care of making notes of the entire meeting from end to end. And we have someone special today. Our general evaluator works as digital solutions engineer at Airbus Group India Private Limited. She has been a part of Toastmasters for 4 years now. Currently, she's serving as area director, area D2, district 92. Please welcome Toastmaster Suparna Bose to share her role and objectives for the meeting today. With a huge round of applause, Toastmaster Suparna, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Nancy. And a very good morning to one and all present here at Gabbys. I'm having a fantastic time attending your meeting for the first time. And I would say the reason, I feel so delighted is because I got the privilege to attend your division contest last week. Yes, it was a Monday. And that experience was something that I was looking forward to. And here at Gabbys, I can really understand why we have so many winners at the speech contest with the way the meeting qualities have been running. So today, as the general evaluator of the meeting, as Nancy rightly mentioned, I will be noting down each and every aspect of this meeting. I will be evaluating the role takers. I will be evaluating the meeting flow, the agenda, also the time we take for every section. And I will come up with my report at the very end of this meeting. And to help me with this task, I have a team, which is the tag team plus listener. So today, let me introduce you to my team, starting off with the timer. The timer for today is Toastmaster Ganesh. He is a civil engineer currently working as a project controller in a private company. His hobbies include playing cricket and badminton and traveling. So now I would request Toastmaster Ganesh to please come up on the virtual stage and share more about your role. Over to you.
Yeah. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests present here. Today, I'll be the timer for the meeting, and as a timer, I'll make sure all the speakers stipulate to their given time. And there are 2 kind of speeches here: prepared and table topics. For the prepared speeches, the timing is between 5 to 7 minutes. I'll be showing my green card at 5 minutes and yellow card at 6 minutes and red card at 7 minutes. For the table topics, I'll be showing green card at 1 minute, yellow card at 1 minute 30 seconds, and red card at 2 minutes. And finally, for the evaluation speeches, the timing is between 2 to 3 minutes. I'll be showing my green card at 2 minutes, yellow card at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and a red card at 3 minutes. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ganesh, for beautifully explaining us about the timer role. Next, I would like to call on stage the R counter, Toastmaster Pavan. He is someone who has 10 years of experience in the IT and is currently working with a target as a lead engineer. He enjoys long drives, exploring new places, and trekking. Toastmaster Pavan, I would hand over this virtual stage to you for you to explain what an R counter does. Over to you.
Thank you for the good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of AHA counter is to note words and sounds that are used as a crutch or pause filter by anyone who speaks. use word including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler sound, including ah, and ar. I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or phrase such as I, or this means. At the end of the meeting, I will be sharing the report number of times that each speaker used these expressions. Thank you. Over to you.
We can't hear you, Suparna. Suparna, we can't hear you.
Now, is it better?
Yeah, now
Yeah.
you're on.
Okay,
You have
thank
to
you.
repeat whatever you just said last 10 seconds.
Yes, thank you so much, Toastmaster Pavan, for explaining the R counter role. And next, I would like to call on stage the grammarian for today, who's no other than distinguished Toastmaster Saurav Datta. He is someone who's having successful stints for more than 2 decades with HP, Target, JCPenney, and ICBI, a distinguished Toastmaster who is also currently serving as the Division Director for Division B, District 92. And he's also the VP membership of Gabbys Toastmasters Club. So without any further ado, I would hand over the virtual stage to you, distinguished Toastmaster Saurav Datta, to explain the group.
Thank you so much. As the grammarian for today, I will be watching out for all the seductive and sinful usages of English language. I repeat, I'm not going to watch out for right and wrong usages because this is not a grammar school or an English language school. I will be watching out for seductive and sinful usages of English language, which means that the words that you use should touch our hearts and stay with us even after the meeting gets over. That is a lingering effect that I'm looking for. As the grammarian, I'm also going to be introducing the word of the day. The word of the day for today is mindfulness. Mindfulness. Interestingly, this word has its origin in the Pali word sati, which, and its corresponding term smriti in Sanskrit, which basically is remembrance or recollection. Some of the usages of mindfulness. So you can use the word mindfulness as mindfulness. For example, the mindfulness is one of the most important skills that you need when you're attempting table topics. That is one usage of mindfulness. Or you can use the word mindful. For example, take a few moments to focus your attention to your breath, observe the sensation, inhale, exhale, and be mindful of your breathing pattern. I would encourage all the speakers and role takers to use the word of the day, mindfulness, all its derivative, mindful. And if any of the speakers are using the word of the day, I would encourage the guests to give a thumbs up. You can give the thumbs up on camera, or if you don't have your camera on, please use the virtual option to give the thumbs up. I will be back to present my report when called upon by the general evaluator at the end of the meeting. Over to you, Toastmaster Suparna.
Thank you. Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Saurav Datta, for sharing more insights about the grammarian role. And now calling upon my last role taker in the tag team, and that's the listener. Today's listener is Toastmaster Nitesh. Toastmaster Nitesh currently works as a senior engineer in Target Corporation, Bangalore, and is a father of a 4-year daughter. He enjoys traveling, playing badminton, and reading books. I will now hand over the virtual stage to Toastmaster Nitesh to explain more about the listener role.
Good morning, dear guests and fellow Toastmasters. As a listener today, I'm going to focus on all the speakers and role taker speeches and taking the few keywords, and I'm going to ask the questions at the end. Based on that, I will prepare the report and I will be sharing. Over to you, G.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Nitesh. And with that, that completes my team introduction. And I will be coming back with my report in the very end of the meeting during the evaluation section. So till then, please enjoy the meeting. And I'm having a gala time here. Thank you. And back to you, Toastmaster of the Day, distinguished Toastmaster Nancy.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Suparna. May we have a round of applause for our journal evaluator and our tagger team here. I'll quickly share my screen once again for you. For those of you who mentioned that both the colors are different, the upper one is darker and the lower one is lighter, I must tell you, the rest of the group who mentioned that both the colors are same, they are correct. Yes, both the colors are exactly same. I'll come back with the thought, with the logic, how you can actually check whether both the colors are same. Pause this section, prepared speech section. Being mindful of the time today, as we are already running late on agenda, a little late on agenda, I would rather like to start off with the prepared speech section. For the prepared speech section, we'll have 3 prepared speeches. I would like to call upon our first speaker. But before I call upon the first speaker or even the first evaluator to share the project objectives of our first speaker, I must tell you that our first evaluator is also attempting a project. So first I'll call upon evaluator of our evaluator. So evaluator of our evaluator, this person has been a Toastmaster for the past 2 years, a passionate speaker, and a person who loves to explore new places. Toastmaster Sudha Raju, please share the project objectives of our first evaluator. Over to you.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Today I'll be evaluating the evaluator. That is, I would see like how she is evaluating the project and I would be giving my feedback. She's evaluating on L1 P2 project. So I'll do my observations and I'll let you know the feedback later. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sudha. I would now call the evaluator of our first speaker. He's a software engineer working in Bangalore. His interests include music, cooking, sports, trekking, traveling, doing adventure sports such as rafting, paragliding, etc. And the list goes on. He's none other than Toastmaster Chaitanya. Toastmaster Chaitanya, do share the project objectives of your target speaker.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Nancy. My target speaker, Toastmaster Devyani Nagar, is attempting her level 1 project 2, that is writing a speech with purpose. The purpose of this project is to learn or review the basic methods for writing a speech with defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. Over to you, Team Mode Nancy.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chaitanya. It's now my pleasure to call upon our first speaker. Our first speaker is currently pursuing her bachelor's degree from Mount Carmel College in Economics and Political Science. She is interested in pursuing a career in economics with a strong interest in quantitative economic analysis. Our newest member of the Gabbys, please put your hands together for Toastmaster Devyani Nair. Toastmaster Devyani Nair, her moment, Toastmaster Devyani Nair.
Am I audible? Am I loud enough?
Yes, you're audible and visible.
Can you remember what was your proudest achievement at the age of 13? Mine was convincing my mother why I deserved that copy of Harry Potter. I was just this close from making a PPT to convince her why I need it. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. I am Devyani Nair, presenting my level 1 speech 2. It's about a girl. She was in her teens. She was poor. She had a tribal background. I am talking about the girl who broke the glass ceiling and achieved the impossible and conquered the highest peak in the world. I am talking about the female sensation, Purna Malawat, who has inspired thousands of aspiring climbers to achieve the impossible. On 25th May 2014, Malawat scaled Mount Everest, becoming the youngest woman ever to have done so. What's more is that she reached it by climbing the mountain's more difficult Tibetan side as opposed to the easier Nepali side. Such an achievement makes a mockery of the classification of human beings into categories on the grounds of gender, class, caste, ethnicity, sexuality, and so on. Not only is Malawat female, but she also belongs to India's lowest caste. Her story is a monumental tale of empowerment, endurance, and mindfulness. At its core, it's a story of survival. On off the chance you're not intrigued already, I would also like to add that Poona hadn't even seen a mountain until 8 months before her summit. She was raised in a poor rural village in Telangana, where the nearest shop was 7 kilometers away. Where she lived, many schools in the area refused to teach girls refused to give access to girls an education. Often they dropped out to get married early. Dr. Kumar decided to send Poona on a mountaineering course with other promising students. After successfully climbing the Bongir Rock, she was sent for a 20-day course at the Himalayan Mountaineering Institute. When the students returned, Kumar decided they had to attempt the Everest. Now, why is this a logical step? I don't know. But Poona never questioned this logic and said yes to it. While most people would have been afraid, she just kept saying yes without fear, without the possibility in her mind that she might not be able to complete the task, that she might not even survive. But for me, this makes her a true inspiration. She came from nothing, but her sheer perseverance and bravery makes it such a powerful story for me. If a 13-year-old can do this, so can you and I. And her reason for saying yes to the Everest is because as she was growing up, she would hear people talk about how girls can't do this or that. And she wanted to prove everyone wrong. She wanted to prove that girls could do anything. And that too, socially welfare students can do anything. The first time Poona saw the Everest, she turned to her coach and she said, "It's not that tall. We can climb it in a day." It didn't take a day. It took her 52 days, but never faltering until she had completed the world's tallest mountain. After only 8 months, she became the youngest girl to reach the top of the world. She was only 1 month younger than the youngest person ever to have summited the Everest. She has a strength of mind and spirit so rare that it leaves me in awe. She was completely fearless in setting her sights on one of the hardest physical feats in the world and a very dangerous one. She didn't lose faith when she heard the age bar of 16 in Nepal meant she had to climb it through the China side. Not at the Everest base camp when she had heard that an avalanche had killed 17 climbers in the mountain. And not even on the final stretch of her ascent when she saw corpses blocking her path. The consequences of Poona's achievements are so huge that it has been dubbed the Poona effect. Children across India are saying they want to be a Poona in their own fields. She surpassed misogyny, patriarchy, orthodoxy, and poverty to inspire a world full of wide-eyed girls. She belongs to two of India's most discriminated against castes. One, her gender, one, her caste. The challenge for us is to help remove the barriers that prevent people from achieving their potential. These barriers, such as lack of basic requirements, include education and nutrition and so on. This can be overcome if we all take responsibility for doing our bit to support the poor and marginalized communities. Poona is a force that pushes me forward. She has taught me to always speak of my future in definites. She taught me I am or I will, never one day or I wish. I hope her story has inspired you the way it has for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Devyani. I must say, what an informational as well as inspirational speech out there. Thank you so much. May we have a round of applause for our first speaker here, Toastmaster Devyani Nair. On this inspirational note, moving on to our second speaker. Our second speaker would be evaluated by an engineer and management professional in the automotive industry. Toastmaster for more than 2 years, he's a passionate learner who likes reading, traveling, gymming, and sports. Toastmaster Syed Bade Sahab, kindly share the project objectives for our second speaker. Over to you.
Yep. Good morning. The purpose of this speech, as we know, we have mentors for new members in Toastmasters. And here, Toastmaster Vijaya Lakshmi will be defining what a mentor is and will share her experience as a protégé or as a mentee in this speech. All the best.
Thank you, Toastmaster Syed. Our second speaker is a fun-loving person and an enthusiastic learner who loves to learn and improve herself at every step of life. She has worked as a lecturer and a patent engineer at various law firms before taking a break to explore the other aspects of life. Please put your hands together for Toastmaster Vijayalakshmi CD. Toastmaster Vijayalakshmi, evolving with my mentor. Evolving with my mentor, Toastmaster Vijayalakshmi.
The figure of a mentor has been around since the days of Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. Nowadays, people often talk about the importance of mentoring in personal development and career contexts. And get a mentor is being a key piece of advice by all the successful people all over the world. In the search to find a mentor, you may find yourself asking, what is a mentor actually? What according to you is the mentor? Anyone? Okay. A mentor is someone who sees more talent and ability within you than you see in yourself and helps to bring it out of you. The purpose of a mentor is to help you grow as a person and become the best version of yourself. The mentor helps and guides us in achieving our personal and professional goals and become the best version by helping us to achieve our personal and career goals and also helping us to think in a new manner and challenging us for against our limiting beliefs as well. People choose to mentor others because it's an incredible, valuable experience. There are many benefits of mentoring for the mentor as well as the mentee, such as improving communication skill and developing the leadership skills as well. Now coming to the mentors in my life. For the long time, I felt that mentor was someone who will hold my hand and tell me what to do and what not to do, which is why for the most of time, I believed my first mentor was my mother. I think you all can agree upon that. My mother is always the first mentor who imbibed in me the patience and perseverance. Further, in school days, I met few teachers who were my mentors to me. As I grew older, my father taught me the lessons of life and guided me to make the decisions in my life. My friends in life are mentoring me knowingly or unknowingly, and I am thankful to them always. Now, coming to the journey of my Toastmaster mentoring. Initially, when I joined Toastmasters, I knew it will help in public speaking. But I didn't know exactly what the public speaking was. Then I just attended few meetings and I witnessed people confidently giving speeches on different topics every time. I just wondered how could they do it so effortlessly. Then later, I was assigned with a mentor. My Toastmaster mentor, Toastmaster Dhvani Adesera, has been a good guide for me in this beautiful journey of Toastmasters. She is very honest in correcting my mistakes and faults in my speeches. The constructive criticism that she gives offers me a perspective that I couldn't have otherwise. I am thankful to her for being herself in mentoring me. As a mentee, I have been deeply benefited with her immense and deep experiences. Once I worried to pick up the speech slot in a short span of time. My mentor, Toastmaster Dhvani, told me, do not worry, I know you can do it. If not to the most, what will happen? You'll be asked to repeat it, right? Then you and I will, yeah, that's it now. I just went ahead and prepared the speech and delivered it. And guess what? I did it so well. And my confidence increased thereby. So this way, she keeps building the confidence in me and help me to perform well every time. So now, every time my mentor tells me to do something, I believe in her belief in me. The other time, I was giving 2 speeches on 2 consecutive days. And in this rush, I noticed in the last moment, the medium of first meeting was Teams. And I needed file sharing rights. But the hosting club member told me she will be sharing the PPT. And I shall not have the sharing access. Initially, as the PPT was presented by someone else, it did not align with my speech. Even though later it went well, I just became a little nervous. And there were other technical issues. And in spite of that, I delivered my speech. Later, before my evaluation, I sent a message to my mentor, telling what happened in the meeting. She was so supportive and told me not to worry. Even this has happened with me once. Despite the glitch you have performed, it's a great thing. I felt so relaxed of whatever will be the consequence ahead. Once again, thank you, Dhani, for supporting me always. I'm evolving with my mentor. Now, I feel more empowered and motivated to take risks and step out of my comfort zone. This way, mentoring helps in having access to the mentor's experiences and also encourages and empowers in our personal growth. Last but not the least, all of you have contributed in my career growth so far in one way or the other and helped me in mentoring. I take this opportunity to thank every one of you. I'm just evolving every day with all my mentors. Thank you. Over to you, TM.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vijayalakshmi. I think that's the true power of the Gabbys. I totally concur with your thoughts, and I'm feeling a bit emotional listening about my own mentee here. As a mentor, I'm sure it's beautiful. I'm feeling speechless right now. Thank you so much. All right, one quick note for Zoom participants. Looks like Zoom has removed the reaction button so that you can actually come on camera and react as our speakers are speaking. So in case you want to show your emotional reactions, please come on camera and support the speakers. Yes, Saurabh.
So actually the reaction button we have removed because we used this account for the contest. So we had removed the reaction button. So I'll put it back. It's not Zoom's problem. Yeah.
I was trying to find the reaction button from quite some time. Thank you so much for mentioning this. On this note, in case still you want to support our speakers with your reactions, do come on camera and show your facial expressions. Thank you so much. Moving on to our next speaker. Our third speaker would be evaluated by someone who joined Toastmasters in 2018, achieved the Distinguished Toastmaster title in 2019, President's Distinguished Area Director for the term 2019-2020, 5th ranked division in the world as Division Director for 2020-21. District finalist for evaluation, table topics, and humorous speech contest 2023. I'm talking about Distinguished Toastmaster Abhishek Mitra. Distinguished Toastmaster Abhishek, over to you. Kindly share the project objectives for our third speaker.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Good morning, our wonderful audience. Our third speaker for today is going to deliver his project Connect with Storytelling. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice using a story within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. Timer, please note, the speech timing is 5 to 7 minutes. I'll be back with my evaluation when a Madam General Evaluator calls me upon stage to do so. And all the best to the speaker. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Distinguished Toastmaster Abhishek. Our third speaker is a business analyst working in a startup in Hyderabad. He loves to travel and explore places, read books, and dance. Please welcome on virtual stage Toastmaster Ayush Goyal. Toastmaster Ayush Goyal, a journey to resilience. A journey to resilience, Toastmaster Ayush Goyal.
I am visible and audible, right?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Starting takes a lot of effort, but going on can sometimes be much more difficult. It was April 2022. I was moving to Hyderabad for the first time. I was very happy about it because I was stuck in Jaipur for 2 whole years because of lockdown. In all this excitement to move to a new city, I knew that it was not going to be an easy task. But little did I know that it was going to be this challenging. Initially, I thought everything was going very smoothly. I came to Hyderabad, joined my office, and started looking for a new flat. I thought I would get a flat in about a week. But when I started searching, I found that it was not an easy task because all the good flats that I found were either insanely expensive or were not rented out to bachelors. So I had to spend and struggle for around 3 weeks to get a decent place. And when I found one, I was really relieved as one of the major requirements was out of my way. And now I could focus on other things that are important. Time passed and I started getting busy in setting up my house and adjusting in my new job. But something was still missing. As I was still feeling lonely and low most of the times. I didn't know why this was happening. Even doing the smallest of work took a lot of effort. I thought about it and realized that it was maybe because I spent most of the time alone. None of my friends lived nearby in Hyderabad, and maybe this it was because of this lack of quality interactions that I felt so lonely and bored in my life. Now I thought that if I spend my time at work, this issue would be solved. But that also didn't work. I just went to office, spend my whole day there, come back, order food, and sit in front of my laptop and watch something. It started taking a toll on my mind and my body. I started feeling tired and irritated most of the time. At times, I also thought of shifting to Bangalore as most of my friends were living there. But I had just joined my new job here. So moving out of Hyderabad was not a feasible option. I had to find something here itself to engage. It was at this time that I felt that something has to be done. So first, I contacted my few friends who were living in Hyderabad. I could not spend time with them every day, but my weekends used to be engaged now that I spend time with them. But slowly I felt that I had to do something else also to keep myself busy and push myself out of my comfort zone. So I joined hobby classes. Just a second. So I joined hobby classes, went to some board gaming clubs, and attended comedy shows. It helped me meet new people and broaden my social circle. Now, going out and meeting new people in a new city was not easy, but I knew that it was required to be done if I wanted to survive in Hyderabad. So, yeah. I remember feeling nervous and self-conscious at the start, but slowly, as I continued doing it, I started becoming comfortable and confident in my new surroundings. All that this didn't come easy, and all this didn't come easy. I had my fair share of challenges, but I kept going. It wasn't always comfortable. Most of the times, I wanted to just sit at home and do nothing. But it was at these times that I reminded myself of why I started. I wanted to learn, to grow, and experience new things. And this kept me going. Now, Hyderabad has given me some new memories, experiences, and friendships, which I will cherish for a long time. Now, whenever I feel that I should shift to Bangalore because most of my friends are there, I just take a ride to the cable bridge here and through the roads of Gachibowli, and the cool wind and the large empty roads remind me of why I should not shift to Bangalore. As I look back on my journey in Hyderabad, I realized that starting was difficult, but to keep going was even harder. At multiple times, I wanted to give up. Staying on track took a lot of courage, determination, and a willingness to step out of my comfort zone. It required me to face my fears, go through my insecurities, and embrace the unknown. But but the rewards were worth it. I realized that when we push ourselves, when we keep going, we open ourselves to new opportunities, new experiences, and new friendships. We learn more about ourselves, our strengths, and our weaknesses. We grow as an individual and become better equipped to face the challenges that life throws our way. Starting is only one decision and it can come from motivation, but to keep going is taking that decision, take again and again, and fighting the instinct to stop. But we should not give up. We should not stop. We should keep going, keep pushing, and keep trying new things. We never know what kind of wonderful experiences and memories life has in store for us. As I prepare to embark on my next adventure, I feel grateful for all the experiences and lessons that the last 1 year has given me. And I look forward to the new challenges and opportunities that lie ahead because I know that no matter how difficult things may seem now, I now have the strength to keep going. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ayush. I must say you reminded me of my first time in Bangalore when I packed my backpack and just moved to Bangalore without knowing anything about the city, all the way from north, any which ways. It was exciting, and here I am as part of Toastmasters Club in Bangalore. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my dear fellow Toastmasters, these were the 3 prepared speeches we had. May I now request the timer to share if we have any disqualification on the basis of time? We already have the polls up. Still, any disqualifications on the basis of time?
No, Toastmaster Nancy, all met the criteria.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Toastmaster Ganesh. In the meanwhile, you all are polling here for the best prepared speech. Okay, let's look at this image again. Now, I told you that both the colors are same. For those people, for some of you who may say, I'm already colorblind, for me, it's all about just red, yellow, green. Just look at this picture. Try to place something in the middle, right in the middle where you see the shadow. I'll say this part if you can see the arrow, and then look at the colors again. I'll keep this picture displayed for a little more while. Look at this picture, place something in the middle, and see the colors again. Do you still think the lower one is lighter, upper one is darker, or they are still the same? Anyone who's doing this, who's following this with me? Especially those who mentioned that the colors are different.
For me, it's still the colors are different.
It's Devashish. Are you placing anything in between here?
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Just hide it and you'll see it's still the same.
Yeah, I can see the change now. It's looking same. Both the upside and down, they are looking same.
Okay, Devashish, now that Toastmaster Ganesh has confirmed that you can see the colors are same, I would request you to try it once again. Just try to hide this shadow part and you'll see both the colors are same. This is all a play of shadows here. Why am I saying so? I'll rather share one video with you both, with you all. Okay, just a second. Now let's look at this ball. This ball is moving from point A to B. Point A to B. Keep your eyes on the ball. Now we have added shadow to it. It's still moving from point A to B, but you can see a little bit of dribbling here. Look at it carefully. It's still moving from point A to B, the same point. We have just changed the shadow. It's still moving from point A to B. Now you can see this ball flying up in the air, but it is still moving exactly the same way it was moving earlier, from point A to B. Again, you can see the dribbling, only a play of shadow from point A to B. Same way it's moving. Can you see that? It's only from point A to B, just a play of shadows. I'll share the explanation with you, what's happening, why it's happening, how our brain plays, post the next section. We have already ended the polls. Now it's time to move on to the second section of the meeting. That's the table topic section. Like I said, we'll have more evaluators than our usual meeting. This section is also being evaluated by an evaluator since it's a project that our table topic master is attempting. Her evaluator is as positive as her blood group A is. An avid reader, a dancer at heart, and a learner for life. A certified laughter leader, Toastmaster Preeti Jain. Kindly share the project objectives of our table topic master. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmasters of the Day, DTM Nancy. The purpose of this project is just to demonstrate the listening abilities. So our table topic master is supposed to listen to each and every speaker carefully and be mindful of what they are saying while sharing. So all the very best to our table topic master, Toastmaster Chitrakshi. And I'll present my report once called upon. Thank you very much. And back to you, Toastmasters of the Day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Preeti Jain. Our table topic master is an image management professional with 9+ years of experience in PR, sales, and marketing. She has also worked closely with Government of India. A travel enthusiast and a go-getter. Please make way for Toastmaster Chitrakshi. Toastmaster Chitrakshi, the virtual stage is all yours for table topic section.
Good morning, Gabbys. Have you woken up? Good morning. It's a Saturday. I read someone say we partied too hard last night and most of you I can see sleeping. Come on, wake up. Good morning. Unmute yourself and say a good morning, please. Let me wake up as well.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, you're all there. I can hear a lot of good mornings now. And guess this is usually the vibe of the table topic section. Good morning, Abigail. I'm so glad to see you all on video and everyone else. Let's switch on our videos again. There's no reaction button, so you won't know what the other people are doing here. This is a very special section for me, especially because I have to be mindful that I'm being evaluated while I'm the table topics master. A master is being evaluated. Well, that is Toastmasters for you. Let me tell you a little about this section. Here, this is where you polish your impromptu speaking skills. You have to speak for a minimum of 1 minute, where the timer will show you a green card. 1.5 minutes, the timer will show you yellow card, and 2 minutes, the timer will show you red card. I will give you 10 seconds to think because we have a lot of guests here, so I want everyone to get involved. The topics are mind-blowing because mind matters. So who's prepared to take up the first table topic? Come on. I want volunteers. Oh, you can still raise hands. No reaction, but you can raise your hand. So please, come on. Let's get some volunteers. Ah, yes, Devashish. Excellent. Thank you. Your topic is mind your language. I repeat, mind your language. Over to you. Devashish, you're on mute.
Very good morning to everyone. And thank you for giving me this opportunity. yes, we should be mindful in our language when we speak, because we don't know at what point of time how the people reacts to your language. So before speaking, you should take a moment, even if you're angry, take a moment and think, and then deliver the speech, because you're not mindful of what the other people would be thinking about your language. So you should be mindful of the words you are using in the in your speech, because it's very important to make an impression while we are speaking, because all we have words to deliver, and that's why we should be mindful of what we are talking about. Thank you.
Thank you, Devashish. This was really interesting. Impressions, you were talking about impressions through talking and speaking. My God, it's like you're telling image consultants that language is important because they're forming impressions, but we all need it. Yes, who wants to take it up next? Now that you know, we warmed up a little to impromptu speaking. We all are a work in progress, so there's no shying away, right? I'm equally bad. Or maybe very good. You would only know when you get the chance. Yes. Speaker one. Your topic is one track mind. I repeat, one track mind.
One track mind. Now, that phrase is something that is not me at all. I am everywhere. I am everywhere all at once. I am the most clumsy person I know. I am the most messiest person I know. As I love to introduce myself, I say I'm the jack of all trades, master of none. And the worst question anyone could ask me is, what are your hobbies? Because if I start, the list wouldn't end. That way, one track mind is not me at all. I remember every time you start a new year at school, the teacher would ask you to introduce yourself and then tell your hobbies. So all through my 12 years of school, I did this even when I was in 17 in 12th grade. I would stand up, I would say my name, I would introduce myself, and then I would be like, ma'am, my hobbies are reading, dancing, cycling, basketball. Ma'am, I also like to paint when I'm bored. Ma'am, I also, I help out with my friends for their Model United Nations, and I love to do research. And almost every year, the teacher would be like, okay, I get it. Next person. So this way, one track mind makes it a very difficult table topic for me to speak on because I do not relate to it. Yeah, thank you.
A difficult table topic because you can't relate to it, and yet you spoke so much about it. Devyani, don't we all want to be you? I don't know a table topic, but I don't want to stop talking. I love that. And I totally feel you and your teacher because, well, hobbies, I still remember doing the same thing as you, going reading, writing, dancing. My teacher said, you need to stop being the jack of all trades. Focus, focus. And that's what was on my report cards as well. Moving on to our next, we have so many raises of hand. Let's start with Toastmaster Abhishek. Your topic is peace of mind. I repeat, your topic is peace of mind. Over to you.
If you do not bring your homework the next time, I will catch you and I'll call your parents next time. No excuses. If you don't score at least 70 on 100, in your history paper, I'm going to take you all around school in front of your junior classes. Well, that is how my teachers have been giving me peace of their minds in school. And it doesn't end there. My managers in office, oh my God. Over a decade-long career, I have had, well, not so good managers, because I can't use the word terrible here on Toastmasters Forum. Some of them have been very particular about performance, and some of them have been very particular about how much I spend when I travel. One of them gave me a peace of mind because I took one extra bottle of mineral water while traveling. Can you imagine? Well, this is one example of people giving you peace of mind. But what do you do when you get such pieces of mind? Well, you have to change it and you have to instead of giving back another peace of mind, you have to stay quiet and ensure that you have your own peace of mind. Take a pause and then move ahead and take the right course of action. For me, it was correcting my behavior in school and ending up to be one of the school toppers. It was correcting my it was maintaining my behavior at work and switch my organization when it required, and maintaining my performance well so that my managers couldn't question me. And it has been me improving through great evaluations over the course of my almost 5-year-old Toastmasters journey. So when someone gives you a piece of their mind, remember to keep the peace and calmness in your mind, and you will be successful in life. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
That was great. Was this a prepared speech? I'm sorry. Did you know the topics already? I'm a little confused here. How? Peace
We
of
shouldn't
mind.
talk about our little arrangement, Table Topics Master. You are revealing that here. That I knew that.
Oh
Just
my
kidding.
God.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. But that definitely brings me some peace of mind. Before I get to you, Toastmaster Pranav, are there any guests who would like to take up a table topic? I would like some guests to volunteer as well. See, we're all just having fun. This is not that. Yes, Abigail, thank you. Okay, your topic is speak your mind. I repeat, speak your mind.
Okay, so it's the most difficult thing for me to speak my mind because I'm too polite. That's the feedback I get all the time. Because somebody is talking to me and, being rude to me or being, nasty or something I do all the work and you talk about the work, but still I cannot, come out and tell, see, I'm the one working and you're the one talking, right? So can you give me a break? So what I do is I come back home and I sort of speak to myself about what I did not speak there. And then when I end up confronting them, the only way I confront was in the most polite way ever. So that has taken a toll on me, like almost all the time. So I think that when you don't speak your mind, you don't really feel good about it, and you don't really take a stand for yourself. And I think that's not a good thing. So yeah, over to you.
You've got to speak your mind. And if you don't speak your mind, you're not happy with the whole situation. And being polite is actually very nice. But not speaking your mind. Abigail, I think you already see what's happening there. Okay, let's get Toastmaster Pranav back. Thank you for your patience, Toastmaster Pranav. Your topic is out of sight, out of mind. I repeat, your topic is out of sight, out of mind. I will write it for you.
One day, I was just going through one of the busiest roads in Bangalore, and it was such a gala time, and I was enjoying a lot of sights there. But suddenly, I just got hold of a beautiful girl there. Usually, I don't fall for any beautiful girl, but this girl, she was really pretty. And then what happened was I just started following her. She was crossing the road, and then I also started following her without knowing that I would be hit by a truck or something. And then suddenly I saw her reach the other end. But when I also tried to follow her, the other guy who was driving the vehicle, the truck, he said, "Hey Muthu, what are you doing on the road? Are you out of your body, out of your mind? Please just take your mind away from this girl and then concentrate on walking properly on the road." I just looked around everywhere to see whether anybody has spotted me out of mind. But luckily, I was happy that nobody had spotted me. That was a very bad and shameful experience for me. And I'm sorry that I have shared here, Toastmasters. Please don't tell to anyone that this happened to me. Thank you, and over to you.
Toastmaster Pranav, this is a recorded session. This is definitely going up, and people are going to hear all about what you did for one beautiful girl. I hope you did end up finding her, at least on Facebook. Okay. Next, this is the last one. Even though I would love to stay and talk and make you all do a lot of impromptu speaking, but time matters, and that's also something we need to be very mindful of. So let's have our next speaker, Priyamvada. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Your topic is in two minds. I repeat, in two minds.
In two minds. Can I have 30 seconds?
I can give you 10.
Cool. So, like, have you heard that story? Have you heard that story of two wolves? Where one wolf is, people say, is the bad one, and the other is the good one. Well, the story sometimes speaks true to me, as I jostle between having between two options. One seems better, and one seems what I crave for. For example, I want to lose weight. Like, so at some point in our times, we want to lose weight, right? And then comes the role of these wolves, or the two minds, as Toastmaster Chitrakshi said. One trying to have a plate of salad and craving for a pizza is where my two minds jostle with each other, wrestling. Go for that pizza, just one slice, Priyamvada. And then the other mind is saying, no, yaar, you need to have that salad, otherwise how will you lose weight? Come on, yaar. So that's where these two minds of mine jostle between each other, and then somewhere we decide in between to have a pineapple pizza so that it can make up for a salad also and a pizza. So that's how I jostle between them. Thank you.
Toastmaster Priyamvada, two minds. In two minds, you've actually combined the two minds so beautifully. I think all of us have been struggling with these two minds. Pizza or salad, let's have an Hawaiian pizza. I am going to suggest to everyone. I'm sure most dietitians would just faint listening to this, because if they know this is how they combine, this is how we diet, they'll know why none of us is losing weight. Thank you for that. And that's my time with all of you. Since I'm being evaluated, I need to just keep quiet and also maintain my time. I will say bye-bye to all of you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Wow, wasn't that an exciting session there? How can we all be so quiet? Maybe have a round of applause for our TTM there. That's more like it. That's more like it. May I ask the timer for the timing report for table topic speakers?
Yes. So all the speakers did a great job in sticking to their stipulated time. So all the speakers were in between 1 to 2 minutes. So totally there were 6 speakers, and starting from Devanshish, she took 1 minute 25 seconds, and Devyani Nair, she took.
You here. We'll come back to the detailed report, or maybe you can share the detailed timing in the chat box. But since you mentioned that everyone is well within time, we need to be mindful of the time of the meeting, how we are doing today. Thank you, Zoom Master, for sharing the table topic speaker polls. Let's quickly poll here. Coming back to the Mind Matters theme, we are talking about shadows here. Now that we know that shadow is playing a huge role in the way we think, the way we perceive things, we understand the depth, we understand the color, we understand maybe the length, the size, everything based on the shadows. And this happens so subconsciously that we don't even realize that this is happening. More importantly, let's come back to the point. Shadows are not the same for everyone. Someone who's standing in a different position would be perceiving these shadows differently than you. And that's where we have conflicts. Now, when we talk about physical part of mind matters, that's what it is. That's where science comes into picture. But when it comes to the mental part of it, just understand how conflicts happen and how our mind plays a lot of things that start impacting our relationships. We'll come back to this part post this next section. In the meanwhile, you all are voting. Let's move on to the next section. And the next section calls for evaluation. Calling our first evaluator for Toastmaster Devyani's speech, Toastmaster Chaitanya. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Nancy. Devyani, congratulations on your first speech. It was really great to hear from you. So without wasting any time, I'll start off with the evaluation. So first I'll tell you what I liked about your speech. Your title was really great. My moment, it was really good. And I also liked the structure in which you had written your speech. The way you started off, then greeted everyone. Then you told us a story about Purna Malavat, the youngest mountaineer to summit the Mount Everest. And then you concluded it by saying how she inspired other girls in India about doing something which is said that they can't do. So that was really nice, and your content was really informative. So I would say you achieved the goals of your speech by telling a good story about a person. Uh, Now I would tell you about the things that you might want to work on. Your pace was quite consistent throughout your speech, so you might want to slow down or speed up in between. That would make your speech more effective. Also, even though you were doing good hand gestures through your body and your body language was great, but it would be great if you maintain an eye contact with your audience. That way you'll be able to make connect with them more. So in today's speech, you seemed a bit distracted while you were looking here and there. I understand that you were trying to uh, make it more effective by moving a bit around, but it would be good if you maintain a good eye contact. Also, if you have some pauses in between, like there was a line where you said something about education, and then you said they often dropped out. In between, if you add a pause, that would make it more effective. Overall, it was a wonderful speech. So thank you. That's all from my side. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Nancy.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Chaitanya. A round of applause for our first evaluator here. I'll reserve my comments for general evaluator. Moving on to our second evaluator, Toastmaster Syed Bade Sahab for Toastmaster Vijay Lakshmi's speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Bade Sahab. Syed Bade Sahab. Sorry, my bad.
No problem. I think we all had to be very mindful in listening the speech. The speech was full of contents. Toastmaster Vijay Lakshmi, when you started, I think it was with the history of mentoring, and you had some big names like Aristotle and Socrates and so on. This actually shows the command of speaker and the knowledge about the topic that you are talking about. You had some rhetorical question, which was a good way to involve audience and also to easily connect with them. You defined what a mentoring is, and you also mentioned benefits of mentoring in improving public speaking and leadership skills. So I think that was a good way again to tell why it is important. Then you mentioned some common mentors like mother, teacher, father, which is something which everybody can easily relate to. I think it was a good attempt to again keep audience engaged. Then you came to Toastmasters mentoring, and you talked about a couple of anecdotes from your experience as a mentee or protege. You had very good stage presence, positive body language, and a bit of a vocal variety. All in all, I think it was an excellent speech which met the objective of the speech. A couple of improvements I will share to you. Number one is, I think it was mix of lot of things. So starting from history to mother, father, teacher, audience, and then Toastmaster mentor. If you would stick to one mentor, take few anecdotes, elaborate on them, I think it will simplify the overall speech and also make it memorable. Second thing I will suggest is you thanked all the fellow Toastmasters and audience. I think that was not required. Of course, everybody has some contribution in our life. Just acknowledging would have been enough. I think rest was fine, and it was all in all very good speech. Back to you, TMOD. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Syed. Moving on to our next evaluator, Distinguished Toastmaster Abhishek Mitra for Toastmaster Ayush's speech. Over to you, DTM Abhishek.
Tell me the facts and I'll learn. Tell me the truth and I will believe. But tell me a story and it'll live in my heart. And Toastmaster Ayush, your story, your relatable story will live in our hearts. Wonderful audience and Toastmaster Ayush in particular. What I loved about this speech is, first of all, how it was structured. It was a relatable story which was structured by taking some elements of the hero's journey. The hero set out on an adventure, faced some challenges, resolved them, and then you culminated your story with a message. That's how it was perfectly structured, and it fulfilled the project objective of including a story in your speech. The second thing I love about the speech was how you recalled the quotation shared in the beginning with your story towards the end, and you circled back to that. That was wonderfully done when you said starting was difficult, but going ahead is even more tougher. And this is something that came back towards the end of the story. So the third thing that I loved about your speech were your hand movements and your gestures. Your hands were visible, and this matters a lot from a psychological perspective, because if we can see a speaker's hands, we trust them more as human beings. Now, when we set out on a journey of resilience or achieving anything for that matter, we face some bumps. And as you've seen in movies, for example, like in Kung Fu Panda, Po is not only supported by his masters, Shifu and Oogway, but also by his colleagues and compatriots. And let me be that friend and colleague to you and help you out with some feedback. The first one I feel is the way you set up your stage and the way you had your arrangements done. We had a challenge because there was a light source behind you. You could have pulled the curtains properly and prepared it well. Secondly, within this stage setup, you could have actually had better eye contact if the camera was at the same level at your eyes, because you were looking down, especially towards the bottom left sometimes or towards the bottom right, and that was a little distracting for the audience. If you have a properly set up stage, that adds a lot of value to your audience while they're focusing on your speech. Secondly, regarding your voice modulation, pacing and pauses. If you speak slowly sometimes, it will bring in greater impact to your speech. And then again, you can pace up when required, when you're sharing something exciting. And also pauses are important. For example, when you mentioned, but something still missing. This adds a kind of impact in your speech. The third thing is, I felt towards the end of the speech, you had a call to action for yourself, a message for yourself, what you learned, but you could have framed it in a way so that it becomes a call to action for the audience. You could have told the audience that starting is difficult, going ahead is tougher, but we should keep going ahead because that's the journey of life and we'll keep growing in that fashion. If you address the audience like that, it would have become a perfect speech with the call to action. Overall, you had a relatable, chronologically structured story. You had a great recall of the quotation in the beginning, and you had smooth hand movements. If you can improve on your stage setup, on your voice modulation, and on including a call to action for the audience, you will be a masterful speaker. And I love to see you on stage and listen to your stories again and again. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, DTM Abhishek. Moving on to our next evaluator for an evaluator. Toastmaster Sudharaju for Toastmaster Chaitanya Prasad. Over to you.
Yeah, my special good morning to Toastmaster Chaitanya. Toastmaster Chaitanya, that was an amazing, constructive, as well as an engaging feedback what you gave. The purpose of your project was absolutely fulfilled. Devyani Nair gave such an inspirational story, and you were able to give her the right feedback. So I would just tell you the points where you excelled at. Like the first thing is you summarized the project in a very nice way, and you spoke about the purpose and the objectives which were fulfilled. So it was an excellent feedback. I would just like to add upon, like you could have observed, like the speaker was very fast. So you could have told her, like you are being very fast, and the right process where she has to give with the right examples so that she could take it as a learning in her future. So you could specify the places where she has to give the pauses. And the second thing is there was she actually needed some adjustment in the camera. Her camera could have been adjusted in a better way so that the viewers would get a better look. And then it was a very beautiful, inspirational story, which she could have given the right pauses for the audience to grasp the story and give us the visionary to take us to the scenario, and so that we would be on the scene to understand and feel her speech. It was such an inspirational story, but because she was too quick, we had to skip a lot of places. So that can be taken note of. So you could mention that as well, so that the speaker would take it as a great feedback for her future speeches. And then you spoke about the expressions on her faces. Yeah, so in her, she has to give a little more of expression to make her speech more inspirational, because it was a very inspiring speech. The audience has to get that feel, so she has to express that on her face as well. So it was a wonderful feedback, whatever you have given. I would like to just add, like you can also try giving them the hints, like how to challenge themselves, challenge herself to take her speech to the next level. Otherwise, it was a wonderful evaluation. You were able to give the summary of the speech and the objectives which were fulfilled, and it was an excellent feedback. Only you have to work on a little bit of giving some examples of her speech, like how she could exactly feel where she has to correct herself to go to the next level. So it was otherwise a wonderful evaluation. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sudha Raju. I could see our TTM pursing her lips because now it's turn. Now it's her turn. But that was not all. It was her mentee who was being evaluated, and she was making notes. So I can see the level of commitment we have as mentors here. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Chitrakshi. Let's hear it from your mentor, from your evaluator, Toastmaster Preeti Jain, for your table topic session. Over to you, Toastmaster Preeti.
Thank you very much, Toastmasters of the Day, DTM Nancy. If you want an epitome of a contagious energy, listen to her. And if you want to keep your camera off, but still you're not able to hold your smile and come on the camera, listen to her. And she's none other than my target speaker. I shouldn't say speaker, the role taker, table topic master, Toastmaster Chitrakshi Vij. Oh my God, everybody will agree with me that big, broad smile, that energy, that charm in your voice can make anybody leave the bed and come on the camera. Kudos to you for that super duper energy and forced everyone to say good morning to you. Great job. No, it was the toughest task, I tell you. I have done TTM evaluation earlier also, but this is the toughest job. It was a project for you of active listening, Toastmaster Vij, but I was actively listening to you. I was very mindful of each and everything you were sharing there. And you made me read the project objective time and again. And especially the note for the evaluator, where do I need to focus on? Because you were just bang on. You started with sharing some very good pointers like mind blowing because the mind matters. And you added the table topic subjects or the topics with the theme of the day. Very good job there. And I loved the topic, each and every one. I was observing what all you are sharing during each and every topic, mind your language when Toastmaster Devashis was talking. Interestingly, when someone said that jack of all trades, you started sharing about your two, that how your report card said so every time. Peace of mind. And you immediately said, was that a prepared speech? Was the topic revealed earlier? Your comments were so candid on the spot. I was amazed to see the presence of mind. Beautiful. At the same time, when you were talking to Toastmaster Priyambada about in two minds and spoke about the pizza and the salad and started speaking about the dietitian, I loved everywhere. I cannot bring a single thing that I can't say that you are not listening actively. Bang on. Interestingly, it's an evaluation section. An evaluation section is not all about praises. And my role here is not to praise about your pitch, pose, or anything else, but to add a bit of value here. And I have to do that forcibly. It's very difficult yet. First thing, when I was going through the project, it's written that you should follow the typical protocol of table topic master. It would have been great if you could have shared a bit about the importance of table topic, the timing, in interest of the guests here. Everybody is not aware of what table topic section is or how we are using it in our day-to-day life. Agree? Second, I know it was very candid comment, but still the two places I found was I'm equally bad. And secondly, have you found the girl maybe on FB? Just control and keep your candid comments to yourself. Overall, I would say if you just keep the active listening part on the spot, bingo. Keep taking the table topic roles more and more. And next time I'm going to take part in it. I can't stop myself. Over to you, Toastmasters of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Preeti. A round of applause for all the evaluators we had for the meeting today. May I request the timer to share the timing report for the evaluators, any disqualifications based on time?
Toastmaster DTM Abhishek Mitra and then Toastmaster Preeti Jain, they took over a little longer than 3 minutes. So remaining all evaluations are within the time limit.
All right, two things here. One, is it more than 3 minutes, 30 seconds, even beyond the grace period? Two, how are you still appearing as muted and still I can hear you? Is it my mind playing perceptions here?
So for Toastmaster Preeti, it is 3 minutes, 55 seconds. And for DTM Abhishek, it's 3 minutes, 15 seconds. So I think he can be eligible considering the grace time.
He is eligible and Toastmaster Preeti is ineligible for voting. I'll be editing the polls right after the section and we'll launch the polls. You need to allow us a few more seconds to launch the polls. In the meanwhile, I would rather say, since we were talking about evaluations and the evaluation section, it's all about perception of evaluator, of your evaluator, the experience they come from, the kind of speeches they have made. So whenever you are hearing any evaluator making up your evaluations, ensure that you are listening to them not so seriously, but sincere, so that you can improve. After all, it's about mind perceptions. With this note, I'll hand it over to our general evaluator for the day today, Toastmaster Suparna.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Nancy. And again, a very good morning to one and all. And yes, It was a fantastic meeting with the theme Mind Matters, and I had a great time being the general evaluator. So before I go ahead with my perception of Mind Matters and what I feel about this meeting, let me call upon my team to share their evaluation. So since we have already had the timer report, I would not be calling them on stage. Instead, I will start with the R counter. So let me request the R counter for today's meeting to please share your report with all of us.
Sure. Thank you, Suparna, for the calling me on the stage. I'm just sharing my report. So today's the word of the day is "ah," where it was used heavily, and after that, today we have used "so" too many times, and then "and." I heard like only 3 times, and that this means was never used in today's meeting at all by any of the person, either table topic or from the evaluator side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Pawan, for sharing your accounting report. Next, I would like to call on stage our grammarian, distinguished Toastmaster Saurabh Datta. Please present your grammarian report.
You're speaking on mute.
You lost some golden words. Okay, so I'll again repeat them. So I'll start with the word of the day usage. So Nancy, Chitrakshi, Devashish, Syed, and Preeti, they have used the word of the day. A lot of good phrases were used in the meeting. Vijaya, comfort zone, Ayush, social share circle, Nancy, go-getter, Chitrakshi, mind-blowing, mind your language, One Track Mind by Devyani, jostled, sorry, my bad, a nice phrase, Nancy, for saying sorry. Positive body language, one of my favorite terms. New one, I took a note of this, note to self, use this in your speeches and particularly evaluations. Guys, please make a note of this, face some bumps, right? I think this was a very easy way of transitioning from the commendation to the recommendation section of the evaluation. I learned this from Abhishek today. And Nancy parsing her lips, a very vivid description of an action. Okay, so now moving on to some of the incorrect usages. So am I loud enough? You don't want to be loud, you want to be heard, right? So can you hear me? That's a better way of saying. I'm a little nervous. See, little is actually a quantifiable object, right? So you have to be, you can't be little nervous. Yeah, I'm a bit nervous. So in such context, little was used in the meeting multiple times by many speakers. I just picked this one up. Not so easy task. It is not so easy or not an easy task. Joined my new job. You don't join a job. You take up a new job. You join a company. You all are polling here. No, we are not polling. We are voting. Polling is done by the poll master or the vote master or the tech master, right? So we are voting here. What other people will be thinking about, what others are thinking about. Other people is a redundant usage. You don't need to use both of them together. Not so good is not so great usage. So better mention as not so great. Sharing the polls, I would request the Zoom master to share the polls. No, we will launch the polls. It's an action. So sharing happens after the launching. So it is an incongruous, illogical usage. Your title was really great, really good. Have a more impactful title. I think that's how you should be saying it, more catchy, more attractive to make it sound. There was a logical conflict in one of the evaluations. Your pace was consistent, but slow down. So if you're saying your pace was consistent, then why should the speaker slow down? Right? So you should say that you were very fast or you spoke with a lot of speed or something like that, but that's why you should slow down. Consistent is a appreciation. You're saying I'm consistent, why will I slow down? What mentoring is, so that article usage was wrong. Give us a visionary, give us the visionary, no, give us the vision. Visionary is the person, you can't give your person. I can give you the action, give us the vision, like an abstract noun, right? Some of the pronunciations which we can do better, mentoring. It's not mentoring, it's mentoring. It's not mentor, it's mentor. right? And the second one, a most common misusage is epitome. It's not epitome, it is epitome. Epitome. Okay. So please make note of these two pronunciations. The rest of it were minor ones. Now let me move to some very good seductive usage of English language. These are rhetorical devices that were used. So anaphora. It was used by, Devyani is a fan of anaphora, it seems. I mean, whenever she opens her mouth, she starts using anaphora. I love it. It's not easy to use anaphora. She was poor. She had this background. She may not be able to complete her task. She may not be able to survive, right? So it is basically when you have got successive beginning for two parts of the sentence. So Preeti had this, where do I need to focus on? Because you were just bang on. So this is the ending of it being the same. Then we had Ayush, new opportunities, new friendships, new something. Then we had antithesis, contrasting ideas by Chitrakshi and Priyambada. They used equally bad. And then plate of salad and craving for pizza coming in the same line. It just shows the contradiction of it, right? In one single phrase. Again, a very beautiful usage. Ayush had this, this was not deliberate, but then it came across as very deliberate. In fact, this is an example of how you can use a part of a rhetorical device to hide your nervousness. So he said, if you remember, at one point of time, he said, I remembered feeling nervous, and then he stopped, right? He was thinking. So that is actually, it can be looked upon as a rhetorical device. If you're in a contest, if you fake it a little better, then it can be looked upon as an apotheosis, which means that you are suddenly coming to a halt and the audience is, oh my God, he's really nervous. So that's the kind of impression you give. Vijaya, according to you, what is a mentor? Anyone? So this is where she suddenly turned from she was still there, the point of time she was speaking about the mentor, right? Suddenly she turned to the audience and started speaking. And this is what we do in contest also. Every one of us have that day in life when we break up and say, why am I here? Toastmasters. What is this? This is nothing but apostrophe. This is a very powerful usage of rhetorical device. Again, assonance, Abhishek used this, where it's more like a homonym kind of a usage, where someone gives a peace of mind, remember to keep your peace of mind. So peace and peace in the same sentence. Great usage, Abhishek. Devyani used this ascendant, which is basically not using conjunctions. So girls can do this or that. So the complete thing would have been girls can do this or do that. So she did not use the do words here, right? So it was more of a deliberate omission. Climax, gender, caste, class, ethnicity, etc. That's again something that Devyani used. It's more like an ascending order of describing something. So we differentiate on basis of gender, then we do on caste, then we do on class. There's no end to it, right? That's how we portray that. One very beautiful usage by Chitrakshi was, I can give you 10. When she asked for 30 seconds of time to think, Priyambada, Chitrakshi said, I can give you 10. So what does she mean? What 10 will she give? Not 10 toffees, right? So 10 minutes or 10 seconds, whatever it is. Now, that is a very good usage, which is called ellipsis, which is deliberate omission. And this is a very smart usage of English language. Ayush had this detailed description of Hyderabad. I so feel like going back to the city again, pool off, roads off, etc., etc., etc. That is called an enumeratio, where you give a vivid description of a place, city, person, whatever. Then there's something that Preeti used. Everyone will agree with me that, when Chitrakshi speaks and blah, 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 and Chitrakshi was all red and blushing. But that was clearly an hyperbole, right? Where she's exaggerating, saying that, the moment Chitrakshi starts speaking, we are all hooked onto the camera. Definitely not true for me. I mean, not true for a lot of people here, right? So that's an example of a hyperbole. Again, pay attention to this, that it's called hyperbole, not hyperbole, right? A lot of people pronounce this exaggeration as hyperbole, right? It's not that, it's hyperbole, okay? Hyperbole is in fact one of the top 10 mispronounced words in English language. Personification, a journey to resilience. Resilience is an abstract noun, a concept. So you literally cannot have a journey to resilience. It's more like a concept. It's a personification or objectification of an intangible to tangible for us to relate with it. Rule of three is a very easy usage of rhetorical device. Repeat something 3 times and the audience will always remember. Abhishek is a champion, and it shows because his speeches, even the table topic was dotted with rules of three. I could just pick up one, but there are many that he used in this one. It's one of the easiest to use. Master speakers, champion speakers, contest winners will use it like this. So if we practice a little bit, people like us, then we can actually get better from that. Even Devyani uses misogyny, orthodoxy, or something else she mentioned. But then, I hate to repeat this again, Devyani, you were so fast, I missed a few of your words. You had great usage, but if you pace down a little bit, I can catch it a little better. And there was a soliloquy by Vijaya, where how do they do so well? This is what she was talking about, the Gabbys speakers, the good speakers at the Gabbys. And she was telling to herself. So it's a soliloquy where she's talking to herself. I'm very, very impressed with the usage of the English language today, particularly the rhetorical device. It was absolutely, mind-blowing. And in terms of how you have used it, please try to keep using the easier ones. Alliteration is an easy one. Repeat something with the same letter, patient, passionate, pace and passion, for example, something like that. Or rule of three. These are the easier ones. Try with that, and then you will find your own niche in terms of how do you want to use the rhetorical devices. Rhetorical devices add a lot of punch to your speech, and that makes your speech go from good to great. Okay, with this, I would hand over the stage back to the general evaluator, and I'm sorry that everyone is looking at me when will this guy start. Thank you. Back to you, Madam G.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Saurabh Datta, for that detailed report. And I really appreciate the efforts that you've put in terms of identifying each and every articulation that is used in the speeches delivered today. So thank you so much for that. Let me now invite the listener, Toastmaster Nitesh, to please take us through some of your observations and let us see how well all of us have listened throughout the session. Over to you.
Sure, Ji. So, who was the first runner-up in International Speech Award?
It is Preeti, but second runner-up.
Okay. First runner-up, T.M. Balavenkat.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. You didn't mention.
That was your address.
Sorry.
No, so that was PO address, and PO was not actively listening to himself.
Okay. Who got third place in division contest?
That is for sure Toastmaster Preeti Jain for International Speech Contest,
Right.
Division B, District 92.
Right. Who has talked about pareidolia in between?
Nancy.
Nancy.
Right. Whose hobbies were trekking, rafting, cooking?
Can I answer?
Yeah.
I'm the team mod. I know the introductions.
T.M. Chaitanya. Who has mentioned like biggest achievement at 13 is convincing her mother for Harry Potter?
Devyani.
Toastmaster Devyani.
Yeah. Okay. Who has asked this question? Who is the mentor actually? In her speech.
Toastmaster Vijayalakshmi.
Right. Who has used words like empowered and motivated in her speech frequently?
Devyani.
Toastmaster Vijayalakshmi.
Okay.
Whose speech topic was a journey to resilience?
Toastmaster Ayush.
Right. Yeah, these were few questions I have noted down to just check. Overall, most of us are actively listening. So I would say it's great. Thank you. Over to you, Timon. Sorry, General Evaluator.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. So that completes the report from my tag team and the listener. And coming back to my report. Wow, I had nothing to write in my sheet because this was a high quality meeting. And I must say, the kind of preparations that each and every role taker had today was commendable. The job was done really well. And I felt there were very few points of improvement that I can suggest. But as a general evaluator, it becomes my duty to share some of my observations in the meeting. So here it is. Firstly, I really loved the way our Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Pranav, started the meeting, and with such an energetic start to a Saturday morning, and it really did bring us back to our senses. Most of us were sleepy here, but that is something that we needed, an energetic start. And thank you so much, Toastmaster Pranav, for that wonderful start. The transition from the Sergeant at Arms to the presiding officer, Distinguished Toastmaster Saurabh was again very smooth, and the presidential address by Distinguished Toastmaster Saurabh was again fantastic. The way you explained, you shared the achievements of the club. That is something we all look forward to as members and even as a guest. And it did give us a lot of insights on how the club is performing, how the members are performing in terms of their educational goals and their achievements. You also tried to connect these achievements to the core of Toastmasters International by linking it to our founder, Ralphie Smedley. And you ended it beautifully by greeting all the guests in the meeting, and yes, handing it over to the Toastmaster of the day with a smooth transition. So thank you so much, Distinguished Toastmaster Saurabh Datta and our Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Pranav, for giving us such an energetic start to the meeting here at Gabbys. Moving on to the next role taker, our most beautiful Toastmaster of the day, Distinguished Toastmaster Nancy. I really, really love your energy. I love the way you engage the audience. And the topic that you've chosen today, Mind Matters, is something very close to my heart, because mind to me is, again, it's not just a physical thing. It's your consciousness, it's your thoughts, and the way you perceive yourself and others. Today, through the examples that you shared, it did make me think, and I hope it made the audience also think, that if we change our perspective of looking at things, anything is possible. Our abilities, our potential is only limited to ourselves, and how much we restrict ourselves. Otherwise, we are limitless. The sky is the limit. So thank you so much, Distinguished Toastmaster Nancy, for taking us through this theme and giving us small examples. I really like the video that you played on the basketball, giving us a perspective of how the shadow can impact the way we see the movement. And actually, it's the same thing that happens. There is no change in the point A to point B, the positioning of the path, but the shadow can create an impact. So that is something that at the back of my mind, I did think that shadow to me is maybe a bias that I have towards a topic or towards someone. If I remove the bias, then it's just the same thing. If I just look at the person, if I just look at the topic or any other activity without the bias or without any preconceived notion, then it is totally different perspective. So thank you so much again, Nancy, for taking us through this theme and a wonderful way of executing your role. We have so much more to learn from you. I hope the next TMODs have a lot to take back. So thank you so much. And I also like the way you explained each and every role, each and every section in this meeting for the benefit of those who are not aware. And that is something which is really, really important, because we don't want anyone to think that, okay, I don't know what is happening. So thank you so much for that. Moving on to our speakers. We had 3 wonderful speakers, and a big round of applause for all of you, Toastmaster Devyani, Toastmaster Vijay Lakshmi, and Toastmaster Ayush, for delivering your speeches. And not just that, you just did not deliver your speech. You spoke your mind out. You were mindful of your speeches, and you made sure that you met the objectives. Coming to our next section, which was our table topics, and Toastmaster Chitra, right? Chitrakshi, yes. Again, a great way of conducting the table topics. And what I love the most about your role is the simplicity and the connect with the theme. Each and every topic that you chose for the table topics had a direct connect with the theme of the meeting, which is Mind Matters. And it wasn't very difficult, it wasn't very simple. It was something that was relatable and everyone could talk about. And I saw that each and every table topic speaker who came up on stage wanted to speak. They had something to contribute. So that is a mark of a great table topics master. So thank you so much, Toastmaster Chitrakshi, for bringing such amazing topics. And another highlight of your role is I observed that after every speaker, you gave your personal insights on what you felt about the topic. And that is something I really liked because that shows that you were listening and you had something to contribute as well. So that made the speaker feel more involved and feel more appreciated. So thank you so much, Toastmaster Chitrakshi, for taking up this role, and you have done a great job. No more improvements for you. Coming to our speakers, the evaluators for our speakers. So we had 4 evaluators, one evaluator for an evaluator, and again, a great job done by Toastmaster Chaitanya, Toastmaster Syed, Toastmaster Abhishek, and Toastmaster Sudha Raju. Definitely Toastmaster Preeti Jain, who evaluated the table topics master. Now, what I liked, a generic feedback that I've liked for with respect to all the evaluators is that I found your feedback very constructive, positive, and I did note down the improvement points that you have suggested. For example, the first speech which we had from the speaker, Toastmaster Devyani, it was on writing speech with a purpose, and the evaluator, I observed that you did focus more on the purpose of the speech. Was it really met? And you gave your insights on how to improve on that. I think that is very, very important because end of the day, every Toastmasters meeting that we attend, we always look forward for an ROI. We look forward to what are the improvement points, and you suggested that really well. And you use the sandwich approach, which I very well appreciate. Thank you so much. So yes, that was my feedback for all the evaluators, and you've done a great job. And yes, coming to our timer, thank you so much to our timer, Toastmaster Ganesh. I really love the way you shared your screen, took us through the entire report after every section. And my a small suggestion for you would be that as a timer during your evaluation report, maybe what you could also do is give suggestions on how to be on time, right? There are a lot of speakers here who were on time, and I really appreciate that. But you could also speak on how to be on time. And one of the best ways, which I feel works out, is for the speaker to be mindful, okay, of the yellow light that comes up on the timer screen. So as soon as they see the yellow light is when they should get an indication that they need to stop and not really wait for the red light, right? That could be a suggestion you could give to the speakers. And definitely another point is to practice more and more. The more they practice, the least they will make sure that they exceed the time limits. So that could be a suggestion that you could give along with your evaluation, which was very beautifully given. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ganesh. Coming to our counter, Toastmaster Pavan, the highlight of your role is you listened, because it's not easy being an R counter. Trust me. You have to listen to the entire meeting, listen to ahs and ums, and sometimes it does get boring. But what you do really helps each and every speaker here in the meeting, and I really appreciate your efforts. A suggestion for you would be during your evaluation report, when you're presenting it, you could also suggest the ways to reduce the ahs, the ums, and the fillers. And one of the things that I could think of is pauses. So whenever you have this thing in your mind that I don't know what to say, or you're still figuring out your thoughts, instead of going with fillers and unnecessary ahs and ums, repetitive words, you can take a pause, a small pause, and then continue. That way you will avoid using those words. So this could be an improvement point that you as an counter can use in your next report, right? But overall, it was a fantastic way of delivering your accounting evaluation. Thank you so much. And now, moving on to our grammarian, distinguished Toastmaster Saurav. I have no words. I think you have done a great job, and we all have a lot to learn from you, especially the way you have. I just saw your spreadsheet. It had each and every articulation that was used in the speeches, and you made a note of the language. I really like the way you did not stick to the usual grammarian role, the conventional way of giving a grammarian report on the good usages and the not so good usages. You focus more on seductive and simple language usage. That is something very new that I've seen in a grammarian role, and I really appreciate that aspect of your evaluation. So thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Saurav Datta. And yes, I have no improvement points as of now. So a job well done. Thank you. Coming to our listener. So our listener for today, Toastmaster Nitesh, a wonderful job done. I really liked the questions that you selected for the listening section. And for most of them, I had to think, what is the answer? So it really shows how observant you were throughout the entire session today. And the questions were really, really insightful. So thank you so much, Toastmaster Nitesh, for taking up the listener role and executing it with such diligence. So with that, this is my report on today's meeting. And I think we are almost ending on time as per the agenda. Thanks to all the role takers. Definitely thanks to our beautiful Toastmaster of the Day, distinguished Toastmaster Nancy, for managing the entire event with such precision with respect to time, the manner, sticking to the agenda, and the beautiful, the seamless transition between the sections. So I really loved being a part of today's meeting, and thank you once again for inviting me as the general evaluator. And yes, that is my time, and back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Suparna. May we have a round of applause for Toastmaster Suparna and Taggle team here. During the entire course of this meeting, I was just wondering whether I'm able to derive the point or not. But listening to our general evaluator here, such a relief. She summarized it so well. Anyway, thank you so much for being a part of this meeting today, everyone. I would like to part our ways by sharing this one quote. All the problems are stuck between mind and matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. With this, I'll hand it over to our presiding officer of the day, distinguished Toastmaster Saurav Datta.
Thank you so much, DTM Nancy. Thank you all the role takers for a wonderful meeting. One thing definitely we can do a better job is in terms of ending the meeting on time. There's something has been, while I bragged a lot about starting the meeting on time for the last 132 meetings, 100 of them we have not been able to end the meeting on time. I think that is something that we clearly need to work on, and we promise this in every meeting, and we mean the promise, but we don't mean the actions. It doesn't work out that way, but we'll try. Thank you so much. And so before I announce the results, anyone wants to share any comments from the guests? Abigail, Devashish. We are 1 minute over time, yeah. But I still have to take the guest's comment.
Yeah, so I really liked the session, and I'm actually looking forward to it, so that I can challenge myself. This would be a beautiful platform for that.
Thank you so much, Abigail. And what about Devashish? What was your experience?
Well, I have attended many Toastmaster session, but this is something different. Can you guys hear me? Just give me a thumbs up.
We can hear you.
So yeah, this experience is completely different. I have never seen like this. So the way different speakers are there and the evaluators, especially the evaluators who are there to see that how you're delivering your speeches. And I myself was taking a lot of notes from the evaluation which has been told. So I think it's very good platform that the Gabbys is providing, and I'm looking forward to join.
Thank you so much, Devashish. Thank you. We have Toastmaster Jacob from the Philips Bangalore Toastmaster Club. Jacob, please share your thoughts, feelings, facts about the meeting.
Yep, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Sunday 10 o'clock is not sometimes, that's usually Saturday 10 o'clock is not sometimes I wake up, but I had a meeting otherwise that was cancelled. So I decided why not join here. Looks like I'll be joining every Saturday onwards. Seems well worth the effort. And I was actually surprised to know that there were multiple evaluator roles as well. This is something that I was not aware of before, that an evaluator can be evaluated and the table topics master can also be evaluated. So this is something interesting that I picked up. You learned something new today, yes. And of course, Titi, I'm sorry, your grammarian report. I have downloaded it. I am actually going to read it in my own convenience a bit later. A couple of the words I'm seeing for the first time, so I'll try to use those in my speeches and table topics in our club going forward. A good experience overall. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Please feel free to use the reports. I've actually circulated it with that intent, so that all of you start using the rhetorical devices. Vaibhav, I think we are meeting you for the first time. I don't know if you have joined us before. Vaibhav, would you want to take a quick 30 seconds to share your experience? Vaibhav Sharma. Okay, so before sharing the results, here is one big news again. During the course of this meeting, we got one new member. Please welcome our newest member of the Gabbys Toastmasters Club, Toastmaster Jitendra Rulania. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Jitendra, for choosing the Gabbys as your learning partner in your journey in Toastmaster. Toastmaster Jitendra is already has been with Toastmaster for quite some time, and he has been attending our meetings as a guest, and we have been in constant touch. So Jitendra, any quick 30 seconds thought on?
Yeah, thank you, Saurabh. And I feel great to be part of Gabbys, and I feel that there would be immense learning for me because I see the format and the quality of those different meetings, and it's quite different, and it quite value addition. And I hope that it would be a great journey ahead. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. And that's how we do it at the Gabbys. We start a meeting with 38 members, end the meeting with 39 members. Thank you so much. And with this, let me announce the results. So, tick, 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 tick. Okay. Let me start with the best auxiliary role. No, I will start with the best speaker today. So, any guesses? Who's the best speaker? Nitesh, don't be shy.
Maybe Devani.
So Vijay, you didn't get Nitesh's vote. Okay, so that's one thing that's clear. Okay, so the best speaker for today is Toastmaster Devyani Nair. Great job, Devyani. I don't know if you're there in the meeting still, but wherever you are, you can hear us. You will hear us. You'll get the certificates. Thank you so much. Moving on, the best evaluator. The best evaluator for today. Any guesses? Chitrakshi, what's your guess?
Pretty.
Yes, Sayed is being modest. Not me. Okay, Chitrakshi, what's your guess?
The one I would have voted for was she exceeded the time. So, I have this loyalty factor, always voting for people who evaluate me. Everyone, so you want to be voted by me, evaluate me.
So this is the guy that you had an arrangement with for the table topic. It is distinguished Toastmaster Abhishek Mitra as the best evaluator. Thank you so much. Moving on, the best table topic speaker. And again, this was the result of that arrangement, that it is distinguished Toastmaster Abhishek Mitra. Congratulations, DTM Abhishek. It's really doesn't happen often that a guest Toastmaster comes and wins 2 awards at the Gabbys, but we love it when they do that. Moving on, the best role taker, the best auxiliary role taker, that is the grammarian. And the best role taker is, this was a tough one. It was like a 3 cars racing. And finally, one car just whipped ahead, and that is of someone. When she starts speaking, no one can take their eyes off the camera. That's what her evaluator said. This Toastmaster Chitrakshi wages a tabletop. Congratulations, Toastmaster Chitrakshi. Great job. This was tough because all the 3, as I said, like just a matter of few votes here and there. With this, I adjourn the meeting number 132 of the Gabbys Toastmasters Club. Thank you so much for joining. We are having a linkers meet today at 4 p.m. with the Talk Magic Toastmasters Club. Please join us there.
2:45. It's at 2:45. Please don't.
2:45 p.m. Yeah, sorry, at 2:45 p.m. I'm so sorry. And we are going to be back with a regular weekly meeting next Saturday, again at 10 a.m. The link is always the same, bit.ly/the Gabbys TMC. See you at the linkers today afternoon, or next week. Thank you. Bye-bye. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.